Welcome to Mornings with the Focus. August 19th. It's the last one of the week. Then we'll be back on Monday. Just a reminder, we got some pre-selected topics. After that, it's up to you guys. You guys follow and hit the comment section. Join the conversation that way. Share the conversation if you like as well. I know where we are going to get started this week. Me with the WNBA. Well, today, I'm sorry, the WNBA Playoffs. The Connecticut Sun had a big second half to take Game 1 in their series with the Dallas Wings. The Sun would win 93-68 last night at home. They had 5 players in double figures, led by Jonquel Jones. 19 points and 8 boards. Alyssa Thomas nearly missed a triple-double. 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. It's always great to see her healthy. They got 13 points off their bench from guard Wnba Carrington. The Wings were led by Alicia Gray, 17 points, 5 rebounds. Guard Ty Harris chipped in with 13 off the bench. It was good to see the return of Satu Sabali as well for Dallas. She had 10 points in this game. The difference in this one was just really Connecticut's defense. They came out in that third quarter and kind of just decided they were going to separate, and it started on that end of the floor. I really like what Wnba Carrington did. She came in, she has good size as a guard, and I think her first possession being in the game last night, she got the ball, drove strong and finished. Another fearless player, and her size allows her to get downhill and attack. The way, Courtney Williams does her thing. It's mostly off mid-range jumpers. But she doesn't really have the physicality that Wnba is able to bring. That said, Court had a good game last night as well. Just Connecticut took care of business. We've seen, the first night of playoffs, all the top seeds were not able to do so. And Connecticut was. We know Dallas isn't at full strength, especially with them not having the services of Wnba. We knew that coming in. But I was just impressed with Connecticut's ability to do what they needed to do to get that win, and they won it going away. But it was really just coming out. They set the tone in the third quarter. During the third quarter, I forgot who sideline reporter is. I think Terica Carter had a quick interview with Courtney Williams, and Courtney was just talking about the importance of coming out in the third quarter and kind of making their presence felt, knowing that Dallas has been a solid third quarter team this year. So, Game 2's on Saturday, but a strong start by Connecticut in that one. The second game of the night is what everyone expected as soon as we found out that the Mystics and Storm would be locked up with each other in that 4-5 matchup. Seattle topped Washington last night, 86-83, in a back-and-forth affair. But Jewel Lloyd, man, she came through for Seattle late. She is their closer. There was a stretch in the fourth where she scored 12 points, and I'm talking about it was 12. We did Mystics Outlook last night. All her points were just heavy. Like they had weight behind them because of when it happened. As for the Mystics, it was about missed opportunities. They were in this game. They did a lot of things right. Some untimely turnovers, not getting a rebound here or there. For the most part, they battled on the glass, but there's a couple key rebounds. Like Ezzy Magbagor only had 1 board, but might have been one of the biggest ones in the game. She gets an offensive rebound on a possession where it looks like Washington played pretty good defense. They just had to secure the board, and then, they get to go back down the floor and possibly extend their lead. Instead, as he gets offensive rebound, and then Seattle ends up scoring on that second chance opportunity a couple passes later. Again, we had Mystics Outlook last night. We went into great detail there with Cardell, Raymond, and myself, just breaking down last night's game. So it's on all 3 YouTube channels, and also if you have a Roku television device, you can watch it on our Roku channel. All you have to do is type in the Focus TV and double click OK on a remote, and you're able to add the channel. But it is up there as well. Della Don led the way for Washington with 26 points and 5 assists. So it was good to see her healthy and doing what she does this time of year. Natasha Cloud and Ariel Atkins both finished with 16 points apiece. The rookie Shakira Austin had 12 points and 7 rebounds in her postseason debut. The Storm were led by Breanna Stewart's 23 points and 12 rebounds. We talked about Jewel. She had 16. I feel like 14 of the 16 came in the fourth. Sue Bird had 10. And then a quiet but huge performance from Gabby Williams with 12 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals. She also had a block. Game 2 of that matchup, of that series rather, is Sunday. What's going on, Jovan? Vintage performance from EDD last night. I love the aggressiveness that Atkins played with, for sure. Just, some of the little things with Washington kind of caught up with them last night a bit, but really it was just not capitalizing on some opportunities. There was a couple opportunities where they were up 1 or 3 and they'd have a possession and miss an open look, right? Or, on that last play, not the last play, but right after Jewel had scored, I think Washington turned it over. Just the worst time to turn the ball over ever happened right there with a team that takes care of the ball for the most part. Just to give you an idea just how close, evenly matched these teams are. You had 2 point guards, 2 of the better point guards in the league as far as it goes from a facilitating standpoint, and Sue Bird and Natasha Cloud. Shout out to Cloud for leading the league in assists this season. They had a combined 3 assists. These are 2 teams that match up very well, know each other well, know how to disrupt each other. For the most part, they do a good job of it. Still, it was exciting. It was back and forth, but Seattle did what Connecticut did. Although they didn't win into the type of fashion Connecticut won, they won game 1 at home. It's a best of 3, mind you, which is why Chicago losing game 1 against New York was so big. They lost game 1. It's a 3-game series. Essentially now, New York, has home court advantage in that series for the remainder. Who knows? They might be able to get to in Chicago. I think it would be something most didn't expect. But playoffs, the first 2 nights have been fun. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. No games tonight. Everything starts back up on Saturday, I believe at noon. Same with Sunday at noon. Encourage you all to tune in and check it out. Definitely some good basketball being played. Let me see where we're going after that. Some NFL preseason tilt between the Bears and Seahawks last night. Chicago got their win over Seattle 27-11. Jovan had this decided New York was going to win because the Sky allowed them to knock down the 3. Liberty executed out of the trap. Yeah, I think the Liberty did a good job executing out of the trap. And I just felt like Chicago low-key panicked late in that game and just didn't have to. And you would expect them, the reigning champs, to be a little bit more poised, but pressure does different things to different people at times. We didn't see that happening. I thought New York did a good job just staying solid as a road team, just staying poised, staying composed. And I think Chicago were the ones that ended up looking a little shook towards the end of that game, settling for 3s on tired legs when you had shown if you just moved the ball around. I don't think New York truly had an answer for Candace. It was move the ball around a little bit more and find the matchups that you like. But late in that game, I definitely felt like they settled for far too many jumpers. We saw in the third quarter of that game, Calais started getting downhill, putting the type of insane pressure that only she could put on defenses. And then as New York started to get their legs underneath them in the fourth, we didn't see as many drives. It was literally just jumpers, and they don't have to live like that at all. But credit to New York. Honestly, all the credit in the world to New York, because them making the right play out of that trap was everything. And then knocking down the shots. Both of those things had to happen, but it started with not panicking off the trap. Making the pass to the connecting pass. And they did a great job of it. Justin Fields led a field goal drive during his brief time on the field last night. Geno Smith was solid, although he probably deserved or should have had a little bit more help from his guys on offense. Chicago led 24-0 before Seattle would score. The Seahawks offense was bogged down by penalties and drops, 2 things that never help an offense at all, and 2 things that definitely keep an offense from finding a rhythm. There are 3 more games tonight. You got Panthers, Patriots, Saints, Packers, and Texans, Rams. Keep in mind, I know I've said this a bunch this week, but I'm going to say it one last time. A bunch of teams had joint practices this week, with their opponents in week. A bunch of teams had joint practices with their opponents on the preseason schedule this week. I don't expect to see a bunch of starters in those games. Deshaun Watson update. The NFL and NFL Players Association on Thursday reached a settlement in the Watson disciplinary matter, agreeing that the Browns quarterback will serve an 11-game suspension without pay after he was accused by more than 24 women of sexual misconduct during massage sessions. Watson will also pay a fine of $5 million and undergo mandatory evaluation by behavioral experts and follow their suggested treatment program. Watson's fine and contributions from both the NFL and Browns of $1 million each will create a fund to support nonprofit organizations in the United States that educate young people on healthy relationships, promote education and prevention of sexual misconduct and assault, support survivors and related causes. That's what the NFL had to say when they announced the settlement with Watson. Watson's suspension takes effect August 30th when NFL teams cut down the roster to 53. So it takes place right at the final cut. He'll be eligible for a reinstatement. November 28th will be available to play for the Browns again in Week 13 when Cleveland faces his old team, the Houston Texans. Twitter's had a field day with that. Just from a football standpoint, I don't know what the Browns are going to do. They could very well just stick with Jacoby Brissett and keep it moving. Maybe they trade for James Garoppolo, but I think if Jacoby's been in camp this whole time, I don't understand why you would. But time will tell. We'll see what will happen. But you might as well make it 12 weeks. It's returning against the Texans is really wild, NFL. And also, if you're going to give him an 11-game suspension, which is if that's what you felt he deserved as a league, you could have been issued an 11-game suspension. I don't think you needed to go through all this to do it. However, that is where we are at the moment. I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about, that's all I had as far as the pre-selected topics go this morning. Again, we got a lot of football this week and some postseason basketball as well. So give you guys a couple minutes for that. If you need it after that, we'll close things down, and I will hope that you guys all enjoy your weekends. But again, give you an opportunity to hit the comment section if there's anything sports related that you guys would like to discuss this morning. Let's see what else we have here. All right, well, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, whether it was live. Appreciate you, Jovan, for jumping in the comment section. Other people, be like Jovan, hit the comment section. Join the conversation. Anybody's watching it later, appreciate you as well. We'll have Mystics Outlook Sunday after the game, as always. So follow Focus TV, all your social media mediums for that. But you guys have a great weekend. And see you guys Monday morning.